Hi, hello, welcome. My name is V, also known as Nirami, and obviously today we'll be talking about the Knights of Guinevere. Guinevere. So I'm gonna misspell that name quite a lot, okay, from now on, so just ignore that. It's kind of hard for me to spell out for some reason. So first of all, before we dive in, I would like to say that already from the trailers alone that we've seen months ago, insane work. Insane work, amazing trailers. They got my attention hooked. Okay, I was waiting for this, especially because one of the creators was Donna, who created the old house. And I guess it's just like, I think everybody was very intrigued to see where this is going and how much we're gonna see, and we're not disappointed. Definitely not. The opposite of that. I'm just gonna say, like, the character design, the world building, music choice, backgrounds, everything is amazing. I was just shocked by it. It's like I watched the pilot, I think, like, now 5 times now together, because I just keep watching it and watching, because there's like sometimes little details that you kind of missed the first time, and it's just like they were able to put so many hidden or small details into one pilot, where it's like you just feel like there's something you missed. You feel like there's something you need to discover, and you just like kind of try to connect the dots, because there's like so much in one pilot, and obviously it makes it even more intriguing to know what's next. But we'll come later to that. Personally, obviously, I mean, not only I, but I'm pretty sure everybody else got so many questions about Olivia, especially since seeing the one family picture in the background, like not knowing what's up with the mother, kind of maybe being curious if, Guinevere has something to do with her mother, and obviously the part of, her having dark hair, and now all of a sudden she has like, white hair, and it's just so confusing. But I just know it's gonna make sense, and I cannot wait until like I understand more of that. And the fact that her dad, I forgot his name, but her dad, it was her dad, right? Anyway, the fact that her dad also has like a little chip on the side of his head, which makes you wonder, is he an android too? I don't know, we'll see later, but definitely a very interesting detail. But when I talk about hidden details, it's like whenever you look through the background, you can find like hidden hints, like at what's happening out in the world, and like maybe foreshadowing as well. For example, something that was not explained fully yet, but through collecting all those hints in the background and in the show as well, is, for example, like the blue lung disease, how there was one poster talking about how babies are born blue, and just like whether it has something to do with like Guinevere and like how the production of that. And also like another, just like when you pay more attention to, the little notes in the show as well. For example, when they had a sketch of Guinevere's design, you can see them saying how her design is like one point is too violent, her face needs to be like, more princess like, very, what's the word, very appealing, I guess. But yeah, basically, if you watch the show and you like look really hard into small details, you just wonder if it was put there just for random background design, or if it's hinting at something. And at this point, I do feel every single detail they put in a show has a meaning behind it as well. Like when you first watch the pilot, and there is one moment where you actually had a QR code, right? And the QR code leads you to the website. And I'm not gonna go too much into detail about that, but there's so much more you can figure out and see. And there's like also concept art of like Andy and Frankie, and about those two as well. Obviously, again, awesome character design. I really love Andy because Andy reminds me a lot of Reagan from Inside Job, not just appearance wise, but also like the personality wise, just I don't know, the way she acts and behaves. She's like tired and trying to work and trying to get by, and she's definitely one of my favorites from the pilot. And again, since I mentioned a blue lung disease before, where people like start coughing and they cough up like, I think, blood, and it's blue because of the blue lung disease. And in one part of the pilot, we also see her shaking hands with man, I keep forgetting names. My memory is so bad. Either way, she's shaking hands with him, and you can see a blue smear, right? Which might be a foreshadowing that Andy has a blue lung disease, right? Because she's been working probably in a toxic environment. Now, Frankie, which I also really adore, very nice and adorable design. I really love the part to see that she has missing teeth, but you know, when you actually realize why her teeth are missing, it's kind of not so nice anymore, so I kind of feel bad. But gosh, she farted again. But yeah, by the way, like her there's like, I guess kind of like you can say foreshadowing or hints the fact that Frankie's teeth got pulled out because of her breaking rules, you know, so two teeth are missing. And he was holding this thing with 2 teeth on it, which is like, okay. Very curious as to what happened, and I'm sure we're gonna get more information later, you know, on what exactly happened and what rules did she break. And another part about Frankie's that I love as well is that, like, no matter how hopeless everything seems, she's still finding ways to make things nice and comforting, you know, in a sense. So it's like when you can see that pretty much almost everything around Frankie has like either like little toys or just like a very nice cute designs, bright colors, you know, and it makes her appear, you know, more dreamy. She's very dreamy. I guess some could say she's childish, but I adore that about her, you know. She stays positive. She's really staying positive no matter what. Is that gonna change in the show? I don't know, but I'm very curious to see if it does. And I do have to say, I'm also very curious about, obviously, Guinevere herself. Because, man, it really bothers me that I keep saying the name wrong. But I cannot help it, okay? So, sorry if it bothers you. Anyway, because there's like so many hints, the fact that her motto is not supposed to scream, and yet she did, you know, trying to maybe warn others. And the fact that, you know, her motto that was found in a pile of trash was the oldest motto, probably, which maybe hints at the fact that she's the first ever motto to ever made, and there's a reason why they did not get rid of it yet, and why it's so important to get her back to Olivia. Very curious about that, especially seeing what she looks like now. And there was like also a little thing where they said that, you know, there's like a lot of different Guineveres and I saw one specific one, and it instantly came to my attention. It was type of like rubber hose Guinevere, and I was like, oh my god. I do hope kind of like that they're gonna introduce all of them to us eventually, even if it's just like for a few seconds. But I'm very intrigued if we're gonna hear more about them and not just like about the original model, because I think that's a very cool concept as well, you know, considering like how many princesses we have these days. And I think one of the most amazing parts as well is that the pilot ends where the trailer starts. I think everybody was waiting for that moment that we've seen in the trailer, you know, which was like, I got goosebumps seeing that. And I think it was such a smart way to do so too, that exactly at the part where it's supposed to start, they cut it off. They just cut it off. And I think everybody was like, oh no, like, oh, like, I wanted to see that. I was waiting for that exact part, you know? And I think it's very cool though, because I know that everybody cannot wait to see the second episode. I think people just really want to see what's gonna happen, because everybody was just amazed by the animation, world building, everything I mentioned in the beginning. It's just amazing work. And give me a second, I need to look it up because I'm very bad with names again, no wonder. So and I do want to say very big thanks to Dana Terrace, John Bailey Owen, and Zach Marcus, because this is gonna be a start of something completely amazing, and it's very refreshing to see. If you haven't checked it out yet, go and check out the pilot of Knights of Guinevere and just look it for yourself. I think you're really gonna love it. Okay, support the show. Okay, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Take care of yourself, get yourself a little treat. Bye bye.